At this present moment, we are going to attempt to define the term demonic. Now, according to the Oxford Dictionary, this can be described as characteristics relating to demons or evil spirits, or otherwise, fiercely energetic or frenzied. It goes without saying that the mechanisms and intention of life is powered by the energetic cosmic pathways that immerse themselves meticulously into the mosaic of our physical, mental, and spiritual reality. These energetic expressions make up the intended design of universal mind. However, what is universal mind? How can we define it, and how sure are we that the intention of this esoteric influence is truly in line with the divine? How sure are we that intention itself is right? So Gnosticism, which is loosely translated to mean knowledge or insight, is a collection of religious ideas and systems which originated in the late 1st century, teaching ideas and mystic concepts dating back to even the Platonic and Neopythagorean philosophical schools of thought. So it was Gnosticism which gave rise to the term the Demiurge, which has been misidentified by many as finding its source or identity in the Bible. However, the Bible itself makes no direct mention of it. And so it's safe to say then that the idea of the Demiurge falls under the esoteric mystic schools. However, it has been spoken about in Kabbalistic teachings. The Demiurge itself, or the archetype, has been described as an entity ruling over physical form. It is this entity which forms and structures the patterns and shapes of our cosmos and brings them forth into their intended function. Many associations between the Demiurge and the archetype of Satan from the Abrahamic traditions have been made, viewing the Demiurge as a false god or entity that tampers with divine creation, adding a demonic influence into everything it touches. Sources have attributed this entity with Saturn and even our own sun, claiming that the sun itself isn't the solar logos, but rather the Demiurge toying with the cosmic material, which emanates through the Buddhi or cosmic yoni, and it brings it into form, which is a slight against God's neutral state of being. And this might be why the sun is seen as a malefic in Vedic astrology, and why Saturn, which is also a sacred malefic, has been associated with the Norse god Odin in Norse mythology, who is blind in one eye. Thus, he cannot see the absolute truth, that matter itself is a slight against the pure state of divine being. But I prefer the idea that the Demiurge permeates our reality and its presence can be found everywhere. This falls more in line with the esoteric and primordial teachings, and in this video, I'll endeavor to explain why. The word corrupted can simply be defined as destroyed integrity. This is at the very heart and function of the influence of the Demiurge, and it is my belief that we can understand the Demiurge by delving into theoretical quantum physics, as this is where the role of esoteric laws which operate between science and spirituality attempt to find the common link. The Higgs boson is an elementary particle in the standard model of particle physics produced by the quantum excitation of the Higgs field, which was discovered in 1964. The Higgs particle is a massive scalar boson with zero spin, no electrical charge, and no color charge. So to put that in layman's terms, it is a neutral particle with no potential. It simply exists. One could say it is symmetrical, therefore perfect. However, once this particle falls into the Higgs field, the symmetrical nature of this particle goes through a process of asymmetrical breaking and becomes asymmetrical or imperfect. When this happens, an interesting phenomenon takes place. Instead of having a value of 0, the boson now has a value of 1, which means it now has mass. This makes it very important to the other particles which are attracted to it and join with it, with the exception of photons. But why is this important? While in Theosophy and other esoterical spiritual schools, it is believed that God is neither the Alpha and Omega, but rather the Gamma, a neutral state of semi-existence so subtle in its presence that to even attempt to define it is in itself corrupting its very nature. This is why it is said to be a demonic act to play with the statelessness of God, and should this happen, then one has fallen into sin. This is where the Higgs field and Demiurge collide. Now, I'm not saying they are the same thing. However, I am saying that they are very similar, potentially the same, but on different sides of the coin. One is spiritual and the other one is scientific. So this is where the role of the 7 deadly sins may also play a part, as the number 7 is associated with the 7 classical planets, from the Sun all the way to Saturn. Each sin has a connection to these planets, and why, despite some planets such as Jupiter being benefic, it is still active, therefore it is still demonic. So could the fallen mentioned in scripture really just refer to the particles which were changed once they crossed the threshold of the Higgs field? Could the manifestation of demonic energy simply be the frantic disturbance of energy itself manifesting and animating form? Is this the entrapped divine energy that seeks us out, because it is inherently a part of us, and teaches us how to return to the natural still state? Perhaps these sacred particles themselves are attempting to return, just like those depicted in the motion picture of Noah.
The Creator formed us on the 2nd day, the day He made the heavens. We watched over Adam and Eve, saw their frailty and their love, and then we saw their fall, and we pitied them. We were not stone then, but light. It was not our place to interfere, yet we chose to try and help mankind. And when we disobeyed the Creator, He punished us. We were encrusted by your world. Rock and mud shackled our fiery glow. Still we taught mankind all we knew of creation. With our help, they rose from the dust, became great and mighty. But then they turned our gifts to violence. Those who lived were left prisoners in these stony shells, marooned upon this barren land. We begged the Creator to take us home, but He was always silent.
So perhaps we ourselves are seeking salvation. This can best be understood through the caduceus, in which the 2 serpents cross each other 7 times, signifying the 7 chakra centers and 7 sins, or 7 planets, acting as the ladder for the trapped light encased in matter to find salvation and emancipate itself from the gross matter and return back into stillness. So simply put, demonic energy is life's energy, and life's energy is our path towards self-upliftment, which I think you'll find is a little different from the usual definition.